Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Talk Real to Me podcast. I'm your host, Macaulay Stahowski. Today, we have Bianca Pickford. Transaction Coordinator for Talk Realty, Inc. Today's topic is the importance of having a transaction coordinator. Excited to get into this one again. It feels like Bianca is our in-house TC, what she is. Thank you for coming on, Bianca.
You're welcome.
We would like to start off just by you talking about yourself a little bit, how you got into your career, how long have you been doing it?
Okay. So I grew up in the Los Angeles area, and my first career actually was in pharmacy. I worked as a pharmacy technician in a hospital pharmacy for 17 years. And then in 2001, my husband took a job transfer up here in the Central Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a medical provider for the local hospital.
Okay.
And my son was a toddler at the time, and I wanted to do something that was flexible, something that would allow me time to be with my son, time to drop him off at school, pick him up. So I saw that the Century 21 at the time was giving real estate classes. So I took some real estate classes, and I got my real estate license. So in 2005, I started at Century 21.
All right. So we've been in this for a while.
For a while.
And so you sold real estate at that point as an agent?
As a salesperson, yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you've seen the whole process starting through from not just transaction coordinating, but actually buying and selling, investing, doing all that too. How long did you do that for with Century 21?
7 years.
Wow. Okay.
7 years. And then in 2012, Keller Williams came into town, Keller Williams Realty. So I decided, along with a lot of other agents, to go to that agency. And part of their process, part of their orientation process, is for the agents to take a personality and a cognitive ability assessment test. So you take the test, and then depending on how you score, that's your personality style, and that's kind of leads you to the job on the team that best suits your style.
So it's literally like a placement test.
Kind of, yeah.
Wow.
It's called a DISC test, D-I-S-C. So D is for dominance, I is for influence, S is for steadiness, and C is for conscientiousness. So I scored a SC, which is steadiness and conscientiousness. So according to that, my personality is calm.
Yeah, that is accurate.
I'm deliberate. I'm organized. I'm self-motivated.
You could say organized like 3 more times. I would say yes to that too.
Yes. So the job that pointed to me was transaction coordinator.
And then that's how it just blossomed from there. Was that right? In 2012 when you started,
Yes.
It was instant transaction coordinator for
Yes. So
Keller Williams?
there was a team, a husband and wife team, and they asked me to be their TC.
Wow.
So I said, sure.
I love it.
I actually knew them at Century 21.
Okay.
So I started as their TC, and I worked for them for about 5 years.
Okay. Yeah. And is that when Brianne decided to come on into Keller also?
Yes.
How long were you there before she came in?
I was probably working there maybe 2 or 3 years. Then they hired Brianne as a buyer's agent.
Got it.
So I got to know Brianne. I got to see her style of working. I'm not exactly sure what she scored on that DISC test, but I think it's close to the opposite of me.
My guess is do it all is probably what she got on there. They're probably passed her and said, yeah, let's get her on out there real quick and see what she does.
That's right. So we worked together for a couple years, and then the team leads decided to move out of state.
Okay.
So at that point, I just continued to do TC work, but I did not only for Brianne, but for a few other Keller Williams agents. And I also did property management accounting for them for 2 years.
How was that? How's the property management? Yeah.
Very hard.
What's the hardest part of that as far as, or the difference, I guess, in property management and then just TCing?
Well, property management, unfortunately, you hear people complain all the time.
Yeah.
and sometimes it's hard to collect rent.
Okay.
So that was a very difficult.
So you were getting yelled at more.
Well, no,
on the-
I was in the background, but I could hear the yelling.
Someone was getting yelled at.
Yeah. So then in 2018, Brianne decided to open her own brokerage.
That was my next topic. So Brianne obviously decided to make that leap.
She made the leap.
If you've heard in the past podcasts of her reasons doing it, it's a great leap that she did take.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the part I love about you and your story on this is you saw her at Keller Williams grinding that part out of,
Yes.
being a buyer's agent. And then also, I just want to know what your reaction was when she said, hey, I'm going to open my own brokerage. What was it that was going through your head at that point?
Instantly, I said yes. I mean, Brianne and I work so good together. I mean, we can go for days not talking to each other, but still working on files together because we kind of think the same way. I think both of us have a high level of integrity. That's probably what I like the best. We try and treat everybody with respect, with honesty, and ethically with whoever we're working with.
Right. And that is one part I also love about both of you is one, when we call you, we always know that it's calm. It's
Yeah.
collective. If there's a question that we're going to ask, I always love, hold on, let me go check.
Yeah.
You'll go get your book, and you mentioned being organized.
Yes.
You have something written down usually about 95% of the time of an answer. And if it's, hey, I don't have that, I'll get it.
Yeah.
That's the one part I personally love. So I can imagine that Brianne, when she made that leap, it was like, hey, I don't want to lose that.
Yes.
And you guys, it works so perfect with each other to where she's so busy to where she can't be organized.
Yeah.
She can, it's just, I've seen how she works, and it's very difficult to do that to where I had to learn your side of it too.
Yeah.
When I first started as a buyer's agent, my training was to go with you for a couple weeks. And every time I called Brianne, and I was like, whoa, she has this list of different escrows going on, sticky notes like no other on each page.
Yes.
And I'm organized, I feel, until I met you and saw this. And I was like, what job is this? I didn't even understand what a transaction coordinator was, honestly. To where I told Brianne, hey, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I was getting CC'd on emails too, to where I'd wake up and there'd be 50 something emails going on. And I didn't know obviously every email is important in real estate.
Right.
But some are prioritized, some are just title going back and forth also, to where I'm calling you guys. I'm like, hey, which email are you talking about right now? Because there's a checklist that I need to go through.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I love about you, it is that you got me in the right path instantly of, hey, you have to be organized, take some sticky notes. You gave us I'll call it a pre-qual sheet.
Yeah, it's a transaction checklist
Yeah.
that I've developed over the years.
Yeah.
And I just keep adding boxes to it. In real estate, you're always learning. There's always something that maybe you've missed, and so I add a new box so that I won't miss it the next time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that keeps me on track.
I think that keeps everyone on track.
Yeah.
If there is something missing,
Yeah.
or you do need something as a text message to start your day, hey, you need this, whether it be
Yeah.
Avid, those are my favorite ones. Hey, where's this Avid?
Yeah.
We'll get it knocked in, and then you have a whole checklist going through.
Yeah.
So we do love that side of it. What is a typical day? So let's say you wake up in the morning, and what is a transaction coordinator's day for Top Hook Realty?
Well, like I told you, I made a checklist. So every escrow is on a checklist, and I organize that in a notebook according to closing date. So real estate transactions, the documents involved are very complicated and tedious. So, and when you open an escrow, time is of the essence. So there's certain deadlines that you have to meet. So I look through each checklist, make sure that we're on track with every deadline, and then I check it off. I go to the next page and look through that checklist. I always have a ton of emails. I look through all the emails, and those emails, I address them, and once I address them, I systematically put them according to the property address. So I file them so that I know I have them all filed.
Right.
So I keep track of everything so that if we had to, for some reason, go back, I could find, what went wrong or what the answer is.
Yeah, you usually do that.
Yeah.
Easily. What is the most challenging side of that? Obviously you're organized, but there still are challenges that in a 30-day escrow that end up popping up. What are some challenges that pop up to you?
Well, I think the biggest challenge on mine is kind of a pet peeve of mine is, to me, communication is key.
Right.
And I believe it's professional courtesy to respond.
Yes.
So if I send out an email and please confirm receipt, I would like a professional courtesy email back saying received, or I always do that, and not everybody does. So that's a challenge.
Let's talk about the word everybody in this. So at TC, you are talking to every single person
Yes.
in this transaction.
That's correct.
Go ahead and name, just some that you could think of.
I'm communicating with the cooperating agent. I'm communicating with the lender, with the title company. I organize all the inspections. So the home inspector, the pest inspector, the roof inspector, the pool inspector, our handyman if some repairs need to be done. So luckily, of all these years that we've been together, we've been able to get a good core of people.
Yes.
And they all know me. They know what Brianne and I expect.
Right.
So most of the time, it flows pretty smoothly.
Yeah. In our recent episode, I gave you a call right after.
Yeah.
We had the inspectors in here, and we talked about just how great you were for 10 minutes on keeping us organized and just, hey, guys, following up that you're going to be there tomorrow, or, hey, are you going to be there today?
Yes.
Every single inspector, handyman said that you send the reports to where they know where to look, where to give a quote at, that it was just so organized to where we felt like you were our mom. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys take your lunch with you and, go to school.
Yeah.
And that's how we feel, honestly. That's how organized you are. We know when we're getting a phone call or text from you, one, it's important, answer it.
Yeah.
Or get back in a timely manner.
Right.
And then just all of us in there, we do appreciate how much you do for us. Following up, obviously, is the biggest thing. So people don't see that as far as a seller or buyer coming into a transaction. So that was the main purpose of getting you on this platform, is just to show your face that there is a lot more that goes on behind a 30-day transaction than just
there is.
you sitting
People don't realize that. And having a transaction coordinator allows the agent to be able to cultivate more leads. It takes the time and the liability off of an agent.
It does. It does. And shoot, you even do things like showings. You just did an open house.
Yes.
We were shorthanded.
Yes.
People were out of town.
I still am a realtor.
Yeah.
Realtor / TC.
Yeah. That's the part I love, though, is that we're so tight knit to where if we need anything, from even watching each other's houses or pets, open houses, the fact that you went out and did that was my first time seeing our TC out there, but it's stuff like that people don't see also, is that you're still so active. Obviously, just seeing transactions going through, you could see what the market's like just off of Brand's transactions alone.
Yes.
And then you get thrown, ours every now and then to where, is that ever like a headache or get stressed? Obviously, COVID. I mean, that was
2021. In August of 2021, I had 30 open escrows.
Yeah.
So that was
I could only imagine.
Very hard because I had to be extremely organized, and it's time consuming. So I had to work 7 days a week in the evenings as well. My family suffered a little bit.
Yeah.
But we had to get it done. So
yeah, we relied on you at that point. I came in, and I want to say at one point it was 20 plus escrows going on. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was doing that training.
Yes.
To where it was a lot to process. I'm thankful for it. Right now, looking back, I wouldn't be nearly where I'm at today without that training and all those open escrows and being in people's houses. And like you're saying, that's 30 escrows, not just 30-day closings. Like you're scheduling home inspections, like you said, pests, roof. you're getting these reports back.
Yeah.
So, and of course, at that time, something's going to slip through the cracks because that's just a lot of escrows for one transaction coordinator to have. But
luckily we made it through, and I think out of the 100+ escrows that we had that year, maybe only 2 we had issues with.
right.
So
I love it.
that's pretty good.
Glad it's over with.
Yes.
I do remember you and Brian saying that when it did start to slow down, I was nervous, being new, but you guys said let's enjoy it.
Yes.
It'll come back eventually. So I do appreciate you guys as far as coaches. Mm-hmm. You guys are there as far as my mentors. Jeremy also,
Yeah.
I would call him often on just being worried about rates or whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But anytime I called you guys, you always had an answer. And if you didn't, like I said at the beginning of this, you always had a way to get some kind of direction towards it. I got to ask, what do you like about our brokerage right now, as far as from when Brian first started it to seeing where it's at now currently?
Well, I really like how Brianne gives her all to every client, and how she is just for the local community and for the naval community, how she does a lot for them. Like the Easter egg hunt they just did, the fireworks that she did last year, she's going to do it again this year. So
poinsettias every year, going
every year
to clients.
So she gives a lot, and I think people appreciate her. And not only does she get her name out there, but people see how good she is,
right?
And which reflects on all of us,
right?
So
I think the part I like about our brokerage most is obviously there's fees when it comes to any brokerage you go to. I personally feel our money goes back to the community, which is rare. The bigger name places, who knows where that money is going to? There's so many people funneling money in. You don't necessarily see it going to a Thursday night marketplace, or like you mentioned, the base, Christmas parades.
Yes.
She sponsored. All that stuff is what I tell people. Hey, if you want to work for a brokerage and you know where your money is going, rather than just paying a broker, you can come to this one and you can see that it's going to the community. And it's going back to the agents, and then it's up to us to go out there and network and meet people, and she gives us that opportunity. So I think that's one thing I love too, is the fact on top of her, giving as much as she has to just us as agents. Man, she gives us gifts and everything during Christmas. And I think that's the cool thing. We could talk about family. That. Yeah. We could talk about the stuff she gives us. So we always get I want to say it was last year, I got a pet calendar. So my pets got treats, for the 24 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
And then our best one is our advent calendar of booze that we get yearly.
The one with all of the whiskeys.
Yes. Yes. That right there. We had a wine. Was it a wine one?
We had a wine one. We had a chocolate one. I like the chocolate one.
I think the whiskey one, that probably went to Gene, I'd imagine.
Well, my son is over 21, so he participated.
Yeah, like that's cool.
We all had a sip.
Yeah, it's to give to the family.
Yes.
That's her. She has a giving heart.
Oh, very giving heart.
Yeah, we talked about that in this past episode on Wingman. She got emotional in it, as that topic is very sensitive for her.
Yes.
But we ended up finding out that it was just a giving heart is what she had. And that's our family, is we're here to do that side without even thinking twice.
Yes.
And with Bran, the part I love about her, she'll do it and she'll never look back.
Right.
She'll just do it and say, hey, gift at the front porch, and go on with her day. Usually we'll have her kids drop it off at the front porch, leave you a little ring, the video camera.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll leave that for our clients to go out there. Real estate in general. What's your most favorite part of real estate since you've been in it?
Probably the people I've met. I've met some really good people, and
built relationships
yes, and so it makes you feel good when you need help with something, and I contact a vendor, and I know it's going to get done. I know they're going to help us.
Right.
So because, our ultimate goal is to have that buyer and seller happy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you have good people around you, and this real estate community is small. It's not like Los Angeles or San Francisco
Or Fresno.
or Fresno
Really?
even.
Yeah.
So
It's very tight-knit.
it's tight knit, and I think a lot of people maybe they see Top Hook Realty and how much we do, and they're kind of envious of us. So,
Yeah. It's unfortunate side.
Yeah.
It pros and cons
Mm-hmm.
to that, to where, hey, we want to be like that.
Yeah.
That's obviously the goal, is to make everyone better around you.
Right.
And to even where other agents will want to come and work. I don't know how much more escrows you can handle. We don't want to have to hire a second TC and be like, hey, we're hiring 5 more people.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it's such a positive aspect to where people want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part I love about it too.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned earlier is, you came into this to where you wanted to have your child with you, this career.
Yeah.
That it really, you can do that at any point.
Yeah. And now you're doing that.
Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a couple hard days where I'm not able to like answer a phone, or
Yeah.
so that's been tough, just navigating through that. But from what I've heard, the hardest days are at the beginning, as far as with a newborn and infant,
Yeah.
hauling around and carrying. If there's a day she's upset, obviously there's no stopping it.
That's right.
So there's no answering phones. I don't want to answer and have a client trying to talk and hear my baby screaming in their ear. But I do love the side that, to showings, or when I go to new builds, everyone now knows her. Brian, today, she just took her to Chicago Title in Visalia.
Oh, nice.
So she was sending pictures of that. So Jackie and everyone out there, I definitely want to get them on the podcast too, because they're part of our team.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They're our go-to once we get to Title. Chicago Title in Visalia is our go-to. Someone who you communicate very often with, just
Very
about
often.
daily.
Daily, yes, that's true.
And the part I do like about that too is you've set an expectation for them is, hey, following up with them, it's very simple.
Yes.
I've seen 2-word responses from them just to, hey, we got it.
Yes.
That way they know that it's been received or whatever. Our team is very well versed in that aspect of, hey, respond to Bianca.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
And they've complimented us because of that.
Yeah.
When you're sending an email to them and you put the escrow number and the address on the subject line, they know what you're talking about.
Yes. Yes.
So I try and be thorough like that so that it'll be easier for them as well as myself.
I love it. Well, Bianca, I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad that we
You're very welcome.
pulled you out so you could show your face. I do want to talk about that too, real quick before we end. That Sean, did I tell you this story? We were at an escrow. He was inspecting our pool, and the listing agent was there, and he goes, "Hey, is that Bianca?" And I laughed, and I was like, "No, it's not Bianca." And he goes, "Oh, okay," and just started to walk away. And then as we're leaving, I was like, "Hey, have you ever met Bianca in person?" He's like, "No." And it just blew my mind, that he's been working so long,
Yeah.
and same with you, to where you're just so behind the scenes, to where now I'm glad that I'm the one that pulled you out, got you in front of a camera and talking in front of a mic. And like I said, that's the purpose, is just to get our team out there.
Yes.
And let them know that we're here, we're established, we have a team that will literally bend over backwards, including Jeremy Engel, that will do whatever it takes to get this escrow closed. So I personally want to say thank you as just a friend, for everything that you've done for my family and I. And then also as a coworker, you've been great to learn from, watch, listen, all that stuff. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, you're very welcome. I mean, I consider you guys family, so.
Yep.
Yeah, and I enjoy what I do, and I just hope that we continue growing and getting better.
Awesome. Where do you think we'll be in 5 years?
5 years, we'll probably have more agents and hopefully have be well known, more known in the community.
Further than Kings County, you think? You think we'll...
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Kings, Tulare, Fresno.
Yeah. We can talk Brian into that. I
Yeah.
do that at least once a month. I'll at least throw her someone or something
Yeah.
to be like, hey.
Because, the naval community, they're all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm dealing with people in Japan.
Yes. I tell her at Tailhook, the very first time I went to Tailhook, it blew my mind how many people I saw. This is during COVID too. So there's a lot of people I saw that were leaving, coming, and they came to our booth. And I was just so proud of her because she was there talking to her clients the whole time, And on the way home, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool what you have going on. I was like, you're a lot further than Kings County. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And she's so humbled and so focused here to where I know she knows it, but I think that she needs that reassurance of, hey, you have people in Texas right now that just came to your booth that literally just walked in here and said they just came to see you. Florida, Virginia Beach. We had a handful of people throughout that whole time frame. It's a whole weekend. And they were coming back to where we were after Tailhook was done for the night. They were coming back to the RV and just hanging out with us. And I think she needs that reassurance that we're bigger.
Oh, yeah.
That she has worked hard enough now to where she should be able to have that confidence to be like, hey, yeah, I did that.
Yes.
Yeah, I can look at Fresno, And I do like that you say that because she sits there quietly, and now I think we need to start prying it out of her. Hey, what do we got to do let's go look at our office. Let's see. Let's call Jeremy Engel and see if we can get this financed for you real quick kind of deal. So,
well, she knows that I always have her back. So
yes, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, hopefully the next conversation we have with her, it's, hey, let's start looking at other offices in other cities.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right, Bianca. Well, thank you for coming on again. And for everyone that's listening, we appreciate it. And as always, thank you for the veterans that have served. We appreciate your service.